Hello and welcome to our annual celebration of the United Methodist Communities Foundation. This year's very timely theme is a celebration of innovation. UMC has been at the forefront of a number of innovative initiatives, and you will hear from the leaders who have fostered them, as well as the teammates who have benefited from them, and in some cases, the grateful family members who have seen firsthand the difference in their loved ones' lives. We'll be honoring some very special friends of the foundation, and we invite you to join them in their generous support. Hi, I'm Gary Engelstad, the Director of Transformational Giving at the UMC Foundation, and I'm proud to be your host tonight. We start our program as we start all of our gatherings, in prayer. We are very grateful to have a resident of our Collingswood community, Father Fred Link, to lead us in prayer.
Let us pray. We praise you, Almighty Father, the source of all creation, and thank you for all the wonders and beauty with which you have surrounded us. In doing so, we recognize the ultimate created gift, human life. Help us to see your image in each person we meet daily, and inspire us to see not superficial differences, but to recognize our unity with you and through you with each other, which transcends any differences. Help us to treasure the gift of human life and to witness to our obligation to protect and nourish that life at all its stages and all a person's needs. In doing so, we profess our faith in you and strengthen the bonds that unite us. As Jesus reminds us, you regard our kindnesses to and care for each other as if we were sharing these kindnesses directly with you. Lord, a morally healthy society is based on love and respect for you, each other, and all creation. Grant us your strength to build that society daily. We commend to your love all our deceased relatives and friends, and ask your continued blessings on our families, our residents, and our caregiving teammates. Amen.
And now, here's the President and CEO of UMC, Mark Lenhart.
Thank you, Gary, and thank you for joining our celebration of innovation. I'm Mark Lenhart, President and CEO of United Methodist Communities. In thinking about the theme of this year's program, I'm called to mind a passage in the book of Romans, chapter 12. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your minds, so that you may discern God's will, what is good and acceptable and perfect. The passage goes on to explain we have gifts that differ according to the grace given to us, naming qualities we see reflected every day in our UMC teammates, residents, volunteers, and donors. Gifts in ministering to others, gifts in diligent leadership, in generosity, and cheerfulness. For me, these verses feel like a beautiful analogy for where we stand in this phase of UMC's ministry. 117 years in, living our values and vision of stewardship, continuous growth, and as you will see in this program, innovation. As a heritage organization, we are guided and motivated by our Wesleyan roots. We are not limited or confined by our faith-based tradition. Instead, it serves as fertile ground as we plant the seeds of advancement, nurturing curiosity and a commitment to improve for the benefit of all we serve and with whom we serve. In the context of senior living, innovation is not just technology and artificial intelligence. We certainly embrace these tools and leverage them to improve the quality of care and experience we offer our residents and clients. But ultimately, innovation is how an organization improves upon what it does and how it continually develops its resources. At UMC, our most valuable resources are our human resources. Our residents, teammates, and volunteers shape the communities in which they live and serve, and it is only through their participation and engagement that our mission of fostering abundant life for older adults can thrive and grow. While you watch today's program, I encourage you to keep a question in mind. It's one that I often ask myself as a leader. Serving in an environment of constant change, how are we recognizing and valuing the life-altering impact that UMC's ministry currently has, while also ensuring that we continually grow and develop to meet our population's evolving needs? As you'll see, The answer lies in an unwavering commitment to innovation and partnership. So thank you for joining us today. Now it is my honor to introduce UMC's Board Chair, Reverend Ed Carl.
Thank you, Mark, and hello, everyone. I'm Reverend Ed Carl, the Chair of the United Methodist Communities Board of Directors. These days, we engage our mission to offer abundant life for all of our residents quite differently. Most of our conversations in the past 2 years have centered on innovation in one way or another, the creation of a new way of doing what we do. Whether we are developing creative new ways to provide hands-on service for an enriched residential life together, or engaging in problem solving to improve our organizational approach, innovation provides opportunities to create alternatives to our conventional way of doing things. UMC now has a new Vice President of Innovation, Travis Gleinig, who is engaged in applying newly developed safety measures for residential life, reshaping the ways we share information with one another, and exploring the latest breakthroughs in applying artificial intelligence to enrich and improve not only how we serve one another, but also how we may better collaborate with one another in order to improve effectiveness. We are innovating by adding to the diversity of gifted teammates, board of directors, and foundation board who are changing the chemistry of decision-making, making for a better outcome. In the last year, we have moved our UMC offices to the Mission and Resource Center of the Greater New Jersey Annual Conference, sharing a state-of-the-art work environment while creating a mutually beneficial financial outcome. That's innovation. We have changed our foundation's model of generating financial resources in order to more effectively support residential care and enrich our financial legacy for the present and the future. We have changed much of our conversation from how will we survive in this fast-changing world of providing senior care to how will we thrive as one of the best senior living providers in the state of New Jersey and the tri-state area. Intentionally shifting the focus of our conversations has engendered innovation, helped us bring improvements to our existing mission, and opened the doors of our imagination to envision a more promising future for everyone in our care. 100 years ago, people were just learning how to drive automobiles. Over 50 years ago, landing on the moon defied most people's imagination. 40 years ago, if you asked most people if they had a computer, you would probably experience a blank stare and a snarky response like, "Why would I ever want one of those?" 30 years ago, very few people had cell phones. Now nearly all of us have smartphones, smart wristwatches, and Bluetooth hearing devices with amazing computing and communication capabilities. Artificial intelligence has existed since the 1950s, and 70 years later, it has opened up a generative new world. Thanks for joining us, and now I'll turn it over to Jim Roberts.
Thanks so much, Ed. Hello, friends. I'm Jim Roberts, and I serve as the Vice President of the UMC Foundation. We raise critical funds to help provide support for sustainable and engaging community housing, programs, and a compassionate continuum of care for our senior population offered by United Methodist Communities. As the son of a retired United Methodist minister, I'm honored and humbled to serve in this leadership role. Providing housing opportunities to our senior community where residents are safe, healthy, and happy is important to me, and I hope it's important to you too. Next year represents the 40th anniversary of the UMC Foundation, and the coming year will represent one of great change for us. We're taking on the challenge of growing the foundation by adding new fundraising programs, providing new and unique opportunities to our generous donors that have not been made available before, and inspiring and building awareness through a new special events program, all with the singular goal of supporting UMC and its beautiful housing offerings and highest quality resident-directed care levels for our senior community ensuring our residents and clients live an abundant life. If this sounds exciting to you, we want to hear from you. Please take a moment to make a gift to the UMC Foundation in any amount. Interested in volunteering? We'd love to have you join us. Give us a call today or send an email to the number or address on the screen. We encourage you to join us in providing an abundant life to the residents of our senior communities. I want to take a moment to thank our corporate partners of this program, particularly our presenting sponsor, Sweetwater Construction, and premier partners, Sodexo, Lockton, and Hawks & Company. In addition, we are grateful to the many companies and donors who are also supporting this show and the work of the UMC Foundation. We couldn't do it without you. Thank you for tuning in to our show, and thank you for your support. Now back to Gary.
You heard Ed Carl, our board chair, reference Travis Gleinig, our Vice President for Innovation and Chief Information Officer. It's a real pleasure to have Travis as part of our leadership team. He is always thinking of new and more efficient ways for us to work smarter for the benefit of our residents and teammates. Here's Travis.
Thanks, Gary. Yeah, that concept of innovation to me is about challenging the status quo within the organization and in the industry. Innovation is about being proactive instead of reactive, whether it's in giving our residents better care through different technologies or supporting our team members in how they do their job in caring for those residents. Very important to ensure that we are always staying up to date with the kinds of new challenges and developments that are occurring technologically and sociologically. Aging is a universal experience. We all experience this in ourselves, with our family, parents, grandparents. This is a universal experience, and we take care of people at a time when they're in their most vulnerable, and so that's a heavy responsibility, I think. And every incremental kind of progress that we make, and whether it's in technology or the impact of that care, has exponential impacts on the people that we serve, their quality of life, and their longevity. So this is a really important priority for me particularly, and I think should be a major priority for society in general, since this is such a universal experience we all share. A nurse, for example, wants to spend time with residents. They want to deliver care. They don't want to sit in front of a computer typing notes. If we can give them the ability to spend more time with residents and less time having to spend time at a computer, we've enhanced the level of care we've been able to serve our residents and make our teammates who got into the business of caregiving to actually do that. Artificial intelligence is going to do great things for residents, like predictive analytics and personalized care plans, and the ability for them to be supported in their entire journey through our communities and their life. We intentionally are selecting and implementing these new systems and processes to best support our mission. And that, I think, is something that the families see when we have these conversations with them, and why they're so supportive of what we do. Yeah, we have great partners who are part of this, such as Safely You, which provides AI-powered cameras to help detect resident falls and allows our team to respond and react to those. It's been extremely supportive. They've been extremely supportive of what we're doing and us of that system, as well as with the families. And New Age, which is an incredible company that helps us with these innovative, next generation sort of technologies of artificial intelligence, robotic process automation, process optimization, and so on, which really gives us really great information and data for operating our organization. So I'm very thankful to them for everything that they've done for us in that partnership.
Now let's hear from an important partner of UMC, Vipin Bharadwaj, the CEO of New Age, a leader in AI-driven solutions for aging services.
It all boils down to the leadership and the management and their willingness to change. So what is really heartening is that the UMC leadership is very open to this idea of if change brings in efficiency, if change is better for our stakeholders, and the stakeholders are your residents, your back office, your caregivers, and the leadership themselves. So once they recognize the fact that these changes are for the betterment, it is putting us on a platform for making life easier for each stakeholder over the next 5 years, they have been very open. So openness to education, to learn, to change has been a very significant trait with UMC, and that has really been the most exciting feature of this relationship. So the mission of UMC Foundation's abundant life for seniors and give them a more enriching life resonates with New Age. And the reason is, I think for any society, you will do good if you are compassionate. You take care of your elders. And I think UMC gives us a platform to accomplish that goal. So we feel very strongly about it, and we are thankful for UMC to allow this platform and participate in the foundations.
The residents at our communities never cease to amaze. There are preconceptions about seniors and their supposed avoidance of innovation and technology. Not our residents. They embrace it.
Yes, when I first came to the shores, this was the main thing for me because they were very concerned. Mom, are you eating, Mom? And I would take a picture of my breakfast and send it out. A few times they said, we're coming there too. No, I'm proud of myself that I'm able to do this, and I'm really in touch with my children, even though they're in Florida.
I think the more you learn, it keeps your mind fresh, as far as I'm concerned. The more you can do to keep your mind busy is important at our age. I have all their games in here, from the Phillies and the Eagles and everything, and the Sixers, and then I can bring up their schedules and what time the game is on, what channel it's going to be on, which saves a lot of time. And with my vision being bad, I learned how to make it bigger on here. So if I want to recount, like this morning, I couldn't catch it on the review of the news, I can open this and click on last night's game. And I brought up Stormer's hits, home runs, and everything, and I could see them live again today. And it makes it so much easier. And this is so light to handle. It's great.
It's one thing to hear about new technologies. It takes real purpose-driven leadership to put that technology to use in a way that benefits teammates, residents, and resident families. To tell us about an amazing new tool in our Tapestries memory care, here is our corporate director, Pam Garofolo, followed by a few members of her teams at our communities, as well as some very grateful family members.
Innovation to me is really thinking out of the box. It's thinking about ways that we can approach a situation that we haven't before. It's about working smarter, not harder, which is one of my favorite sayings. So I think innovation is crucial to being effective and efficient in what we do in the services we provide. And Safely You was interesting because they use video technology. So they're actually videotaping, but at the same time, that videotaping respects privacy and autonomy and is only captured and saved if there's an issue that we need to then go back and monitor. So it kind of gives you that hindsight monitoring, if that makes sense. But yet Safely You kind of sparked our interest because it also respected the privacy and the regulations that we must follow to not, monitor all of our residents like Big Brother watching. So that's kind of how that came about. And then, it was introduced through Travis and it seemed like a really good fit. So we gave it a shot. I also think the thing that was really crucial with Safely You in particular as a company was that they onboarded the staff very diligently. They made sure that they were the ones providing training to the direct care team. I think that one of the great stories, I can't remember which community it was, but one of the great stories was they hadn't even officially launched it, but they had like a soft launch for a week. And within that week, the staff saw the possibilities of what it could do and were already like, this is the greatest thing. So when it came time to really do that hard launch, everybody really had the buy-in and was really effective. It's a reassurance and safety. I mean, they come to our community and our care because the families don't have the ability or the skills or the time or whatever to support their loved one as they wish, and we do. We are the experts. If I had cancer, I would go to the best oncologist. So if I have dementia or cognitive impairment, I'm going to go to the experts. So I think that they know and understand that we utilize technology in this way, that it just enhances the services that we provide.
We have a great team that's been here for many, many years. So honestly, it really is like home away from home and a very close-knit family environment that we have here in Tapestries. We were very excited about Safely You. We had, lots of meetings and about what the product was and what it could offer. And so we were really looking forward to it. And I have to say, our team and families have embraced it, and it has been a nice complement for our resident care and safety here in Tapestries. Amazingly, they have really embraced it. I have to say, Safely You and their team really helped them understand what this technology is, and we had a really smooth transition into its installation and to starting it. We advised the family that this is a technology we have, and they can consent to either activate it or not. So they do have the right to participate or not participate. We have full 100% participation here in Tapestry since we launched it. I think families have a good sense of security and peace, knowing that their loved one is safe, and if they do have a fall, they'll have a quick response and a quick intervention. They appreciate that the communication and that and the suggestion. They would say, you know what, we looked at the video and we realized in doing so that this is what we're seeing. We share that information with the family. We tell them what maybe a suggestion or a recommendation is, and I have found that they're very thankful for that, and they're usually very agreeable and responsive to anything we ask that makes the resident more safe and more comfortable. I love technology. I really do. Yes. Yeah, I'm excited about the technology and in the ways that it can assist us in care and safety. Yeah, it's great. I just hope that technology continues to grow and we can use it in many other areas.
Well, I enjoy the wisdom that they share. I enjoy also the encouragement that they seem to give us. Even though we're here to take care of them, they do somehow seem to flip some things and wind up encouraging you in a way that you didn't think, was not even expecting. So I do enjoy that. And I enjoy that they welcome the care and are very appreciative of it. Well, when it comes to safety of the residents, anything that's going to help with that, whether it's technology or some other innovative way of us changing our strategy or the way we do things, I'm all for that, because it's all about the safety of the residents. It's received very well, because again, it's all about the safety of their loved ones. So anything that's going to keep their loved ones safe, they're usually on board with.
I love it. This is good for me. I love it. I love the residents, and I enjoy it because it's different. You have to be something different for everybody. I have people ask me, are you my sister? I'll tell them, you want me to be? It's okay, I'm your sister. I'm your body, your mother, whatever you need me to be. Because in their world, if it's important for them, then it's important for me. So it works. Safely You, it will alert you. As soon as the resident falls, it will alert you, and then you can go in and help them out, call the nurse, set up the motion to provide the care that they need. I've been doing this for a few years, and I love it. I've been here a long time. I have worked different departments, and everyone, gets a piece of your heart. So that's what I like here, that we work with our heart. Not only, oh, it's a job, get my check and go. No. I feel as if I'm vested in my residents.
Self-review is mostly to monitor the resident, not their privacy, but to monitor them when there is any fall in the room, and then that would the self-review company would call us that there is a fall in that room, and then we would go to the room immediately to check on the resident. It helps, especially help us to see before the resident would fall and we don't know what happened. But if the resident fall within that parameter where the camera is, we know exactly what happened when we review the video. So it's a very good, very, very good tool to use.
My dad was the cool one, and my mom was, I used to always call her the Barracuda. We had 5 kids in the family, and so, it took a lot to kind of, 4 boys, and so it took a lot to kind of schedule us, stage us, get us ready, but we always had a good time. She was a very fastidious person. So with 4 boys, that was a bit of a challenge. Very clean and neat, and kind of the house was almost museum-like in some cases. And she and my dad were really good partners. He died 7 years ago now, just the other day, and by partners, I think that they did things together all the time. They entertained together, and they complemented each other, and it's something that I don't see a lot of role models like that today. But I was very pleased with Collingswood. It was very clean. It seemed pretty well staffed, considering that we were just kind of coming out of the pandemic. And my mom and my wife and I, and Marilyn, came for a visit and a tour and a luncheon. It was crab cakes that day, and which is one of my mom's favorites. And so we settled on this. And then she fell, and so that made the decision a little bit quicker. And I get a call very quickly. I've even gotten calls, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and I appreciate that. And they always say, "Hi, this is so and so from Collingswood. Nobody's hurt. It's not an emergency." Which is I like. I'm a bottom line kind of guy, and so I like knowing what the bottom line is, and it's reassuring. It's part of the portfolio. The staff here is very good. They're very kind, considerate, thorough, and very compassionate, and that's kind of the thing that I'm looking for. I wanted my mom treated with a lot of dignity and respect, and they're very proactive that way, and I truly appreciate that. And so I just look at this as another tool in the toolbox to kind of help them out.
So I'd like to tell you about Mindell. Mindell was a force to be reckoned with. She was born in 1927. She went through the Great Depression. She went through World War II, and she was a bit of a rebel. Her mother wanted her to stay in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, where she was born, and have a duplex and live on the other side of her mother. And she said, no, I'm going to college, which was totally forbidden in those days, and by her mother anyway. And she got a full ride to Temple University, moved to Philadelphia on her own, met my dad when he was getting out of the Air Force. So she was, I think, like a junior in college when he was a freshman. So my dad and my mom were kind of the first I guess, wave of psychologists, because psychology really came out of the World Wars. And in those days, you just got a degree in psychology. You weren't specialized. So my dad went into industrial psychology, business psychology, And my mom had the three of us, but then went back and got her master's. And so the two of them went into business together and started a consulting company, War Associates. And back in those days, it was so unusual for women to work, particularly to work in Center City, Philadelphia. But then she had a stroke. And when she had a stroke, there really was not enough help there that I thought was quality. And I had visited Collingswood. Actually, when we went out of lockdown, I visited here, and I was so impressed with the memory care unit. But at the same time, I thought, she's not quite ready. So when we moved her last February, she was ready. I was just, I can't tell you, because I'm not a person who's very gushy. I was overjoyed. The staff are incredibly loving. They're dedicated. There's a difference between a faith-based facility and a for-profit. The people are really invested in the residents, and here, it's really stable group, loving group. They've got their own thing going on, and it's a good thing, And I was thrilled because I had done things like put bells, literally put jingle bells on her and on her walker and on the rail on her bed. At the time, she had a bed rail because she had a hospital bed at the time. She's gotten better. She's made a lot of recovery, but we were trying desperately to find ways to monitor her movement, her falls. So when I heard about this is actually one of the reasons I first came and looked at the facility. And I will say we have benefited so much from it. My mom falls pretty regularly, and she bounces, luckily. But it's like an instant response. And not only that, you can go and you can analyze, which we have done, what caused the fall. Like at one point, I had the feng shui perfect in her room, and yet it turned out that I had the dresser in a place where she was trying to avoid with her walker. And by simply moving that back, when we saw why she fell, we've really diminished the number of falls. She does really well. She knows her grandchildren still, mostly not the great-grandchildren as much, but remembers. She still plays piano. She would kill me if I said that because she wouldn't like, this is the way it sounds now, but she still plays. We still sing together. She still has a sense of fun. If she's feeling well enough, I drag her out. We go to Rita's and get an ice cream sundae, or we go, get a quick dinner somewhere.
We've also asked the president and CEO of Safely You to give us his thoughts on how it's working out so far.
We've been thrilled with the partnership. The data from UMC has been incredible. The team there has been incredible to work with. To share some of that data, we're seeing that they're responding to our events in 1 minute and 37 seconds on average, which is incredible. That is a really fast response time, and it really speaks to how strong that team is. And they've been sending folks to the ER 3% of the time because they're not sending folks that just lowered themselves intentionally. What we see without us in places, that'll be more like 20% of the time. So they've brought down the number of emergency room usage by about a factor of 10. Really important, really meaningful for residents and families. So thank you all that have participated. And again, thank you to the team. So it's been a wonderful partnership. I hope the event is going well. Thank you again for inviting us to participate. We've been thrilled with working with the Shores and Collingswood, and I look forward to continuing the partnership to innovate together.
The success of an event like this is dependent on loyal and generous sponsors. Our presenting sponsor is Sweetwater Construction. The UMC Sweetwater relationship goes back a number of years, and their first-class work has made an indelible impact on our residents and our teammates. They really have created great places to work and to call home, thanks to Sweetwater. Here's Ron Witt, the president and CEO.
Yes, good afternoon. My name is Ronald Witt, and I'm with Sweetwater Construction, and I'm the president and CEO. So Sweetwater Construction was founded in 1985 by my father. Sweetwater at the time was an interior acoustical contractor, and under my father's vision, we developed into an interior construction contractor and then morphed into a full-blown general construction and construction management firm. So our relationship with United Methodist Communities probably started 15 years ago. It's been a wonderful relationship. We feel blessed and privileged to work with United Methodist Communities. We have done many projects for them, and we feel we've provided a quality work that has enriched the lives of the residents over the various communities that we've constructed. So part of our task as we've worked with United Methodist Communities has been how can we help them revitalize a lot of their communities and the common area spaces. And I think that's been a wonderful objective and a wonderful task to have put upon us, because when you see the progress, you see space that perhaps is maybe dull and dreary at times, and see what vibrant colors and schemes and amenities come out of that is truly special. It's been a privilege to work with United Methodist Communities, first and foremost. I think that the message and the mantra that UMC has in the marketplace to care for the senior living members that are coming into their communities is wonderful. So for me, it's meaningful, and how can we help UMC prepare to care for many, many people in the future?
Our ability to provide state-of-the-art innovative tools is sometimes made possible by donors making truly transformational gifts. One of those tools is the IN2L program at our Bristol Glen community. This was made possible by the generosity of a donor who chooses to remain anonymous. But that donor was nice enough to write us a few words as to why she chose to do so. We're going to use some AI technology to hear her letter, read by a voice that might sound familiar.
Bristol Glen provided a loving home and trusted care to our mom for many years. We observed the hard work of the many nurses and aides in Tapestries who tirelessly provided activities to stimulate the residents to participate in ways that brought them joy and entertainment. We watched our mother transform from a loner sitting in her room to a member of a community. She preferred to be out in the living room sitting with her Tapestries family. We were thrilled that she was not in her room most of the time when we showed up for a visit. With every day that goes by since Mom passed away, peacefully in her room, which had truly become her comfortable home, we are more thankful that we had the opportunity to repay, in a tangible way, the Bristol Glen community. We were thrilled to make a gift of the IN2L system that would honor our mom's life at Bristol Glen long after she was gone. We know and are very happy that it has been put to good use for the whole community. There are too many people to name in Tapestries and all of Bristol Glen that made a huge difference to our family. There are so many of you who consistently go the extra mile. We wish to show our gratitude with this gift, hopefully making your job just a little easier. We hope you have been blessed, as we have been so blessed by all of you. The jewels in all of your crowns will be sparkling in heaven, where we will all meet again. You have our eternal gratitude.
Let's hear from some more residents and how they too have also embraced the 21st century.
Personally, I have an iMac computer desktop, and I have a laptop. I have an iPad, I have an iPhone, and a printer, of course. I liked the speed of it, of course, and did a lot of things online. In fact, as a housewife, I did shopping, ShopRite, grocery shopping to the ShopRite online. I'd fill out a big form and send it off, and then they'd bring it right to my kitchen.
Can't beat that.
So that had a very large impact. Oh, I booked vacations. We just flew to Kentucky 2 weekends ago, booked it all online, got everything, car rental. Right. All I had to do was walk out the door. So I like that. It just certainly has made my life easier. And of course, the older we get, we want it to be easy. So technology it's just great, I think.
Happened in my 20s, software came in, and that certainly made a big decision in my life. In my 40s, fiber optics came out, which I was actively involved in. And finally, when I turned 50, there's something called the network effect. I helped founded a company called Telex, or Digital Realty Trust, in downtown Manhattan that grew and was finally bought out 15 years later by Digital Realty Trust for $1.9 billion. So I think that AI is going to be a great, interesting technology. I'm not too sure exactly where it's going to go, but certainly it's very good. And I think that rather than writing college professors, I think the intelligence in the machines are going to exceed that of the human. So they might be able to cure cancer in my lifetime, fix the genetic defects, and perhaps, make life a little bit easier. Well, I've always been interested, quite frankly. I just think that my mind works like a beginning, a middle, and an end, and I think, technology has always helped people. I mean, you and I both know we've gone through fire, agriculture, wheels, printing, railroads, telegraph, steam-driven factories, electricity, computers, internet, quantum computing, which I don't understand. But the thing that's really exciting in the communications world, I used to sell long distance for like 14 cents, and now it's for free with Skype. And my daughter is right now in Prague with her family, and I just Skype with her, and I see her for free. It's just a mind-blocking that wouldn't even begin. And that wasn't developed at Bell Labs, that was developed by a bunch of programmers in Estonia. It's just amazing where technology goes. And I'm just thinking to myself, the future is wide open.
Now let's take some time to acknowledge our very generous sponsors. As of today, we are at $93,000 raised. Can you help us get to $100,000 by joining them? Use the QR code on the screen or send a check to the UMC Foundation at the address listed below. Our presenting sponsor, Sweetwater Construction. Our Asbury Premier partners, Hawks & Company is a customer-centric supplier of HVAC services. A longtime partner of UMC, Hawks takes ownership and pride in their work. They treat our communities, our residents, and our teammates with first-class service. They take the time to review any issues and provide options to develop the best solution for UMC. Thank you, Hawks & Company, for your many years of generous support. With over 135 offices and over 65,000 clients, Lockton & Company is a worldwide leader in risk management. With Lockton, you get something you may not be used to with insurance: creative thinking. No matter what risks you face, they'll help you overcome them with innovative solutions tailor-made for our business, even if they need to invent them anew. Thank you, Lockton, for always being there for UMC. Sodexo is a true partner with UMC, providing dining services at our 4 full-service communities. The Sodexo team is an integral part of what makes our communities so special. They are constantly listening to our residents, and they are continually utilizing innovative methods to provide a first-rate dining experience. It is a real pleasure working alongside the Sodexo team, and we thank them for their significant support over the years. Thank you, Sodexo. Our Platinum sponsor, Terrence and Jean Edwards. Our Diamond level sponsorship, Baker Tilly, Anonymous. Emerald sponsorship, Sprague Energy, the Holman Foundation, New Age. Ruby sponsorship, Video Crew, Action Plumbing, Community Foundation of Sarasota, Sanford Hollander, Provident Bank, Nona Ostrov, Green Oak Consulting, Initial Impact, McCarter English, UFCW Local 152, Tom Griffith, and William Williams. Jim and Diana Roberts, Mark and Karen Lenhard, KDA Architects, UMC Foundation Team. Sapphire sponsorship, ABS Electrical, Marion Security, Princeton Strategic Communications, and Safely You. At UMC, we are blessed with amazing teammates. The one thing I love the most is their unending desire to learn about their residents, to learn about each other, and to learn about all aspects of UMC. Here's Pam again to talk about how UMC is making that happen.
So we had a meeting, and I remember, saying, we need this. So, we were like, okay, Mark was like, make it so. So we got a group together, and it was one of those things that when you're on the right track, it just becomes easy and it just falls into place. And I remember Dave, Glenn, and I talking after, so we all got together, we had a group, it was a mix of people from different positions and levels, got together. There was probably about 7, 8 of us, and we just made a list of everything that we thought that we needed people to understand to be a leader. Everything from risk management to critical thinking, which is what I'll be teaching today, to various topics, HR law, finance. So we just created this, and that was in the morning, and then by the afternoon we had it broken up, and we decided that we would be able to teach this within 4 consecutive sessions over the course of a year. I mean, it just flowed and fell into place, and we knew we were on the right track. And then we took a build as you go approach. Dave Glenn likes to say, you build the bridge as we're going, and that's kind of what we did. So we launched the first session, even though we didn't have the whole thing completely mapped out yet. And we knew that it was going to be kind of like a qualitative research, for lack of a better description, and where we got the feedback from the participants. And the participants told us what they wanted more of, and they told us, I was just joking in the session now, that they told us that they wanted more cookies. So we made sure we had more cookies. But they also told us that they wanted more information on how to do employee evaluations. So we are making sure that we have one of our sessions dedicated to how do you do effective employee evaluations. So with Build As You Go, and now we are actually in our second year, and we have already had a number of graduates. Every session we have more people sign up. Every session we have more graduates. And it's been really great. And everybody's kind of found their roles. We have Tanya, who interviews all of the people who are graduating and how it impacted them. We have leadership throughout all of UMC that provides education, and they're the presenters. And very well received. We actually have people that we have to tell them, like, okay, well, maybe next time you can join, because it's so well attended and appreciated. So it's a great program.
I think it shows that we are investing in, it's not just top leadership that has had the opportunity to come to the university. We've just now gotten through our management team, and we've started sending some frontline folks as well. So it shows them that it's not all about C-suite and management, that we do want to invest in them, being able to cultivate, grow them from within, and give them the opportunities to potentially have management or leadership positions as well. So it shows that UMC as a company is innovative in that, again, we're going to cultivate and grow our own and not just try to depend on folks from the outside to fill positions, whether it's frontline level or management or leadership.
I think it speaks profoundly to the fact that it's not just words that they say, that they care not only for our residents, but also for our teammates to invest the time, the money, and the resources, and the leadership's time in bringing their presentations and putting these days together and bringing us all here to be able to interact with one another and people we wouldn't normally interact with, to learn from another, and to grow in our own skills and abilities, which benefits ourselves personally, but then ultimately, of course, then will benefit our community. So I think it's a blessing that we're able to do this and be a part of it.
Mark have been a part of UMC University from day one. When this was brought to Mark, he was like, I love it, invest into teammates. And one of the #1 belief that Mark has is invest in your team. You will not lose that investment. And he has done that with UMC University.
Another area of constant innovation is with Homeworks, our live-in care team. They provide the peace of mind that comes with having someone staying with you in the house at all times. Live-in care offers one-on-one care, assistance, and attention in the environment older adults trust most, their home. A live-in caregiver lends peace of mind for seniors with mobility or memory issues, in addition to all older adults in need of wellness visits. If you're concerned about your family member who may be living alone or declining in functioning, the peace of mind that a caregiver can provide is priceless. A Homeworks caregiver can provide as little or as much help and support as needed. We'd like to take some time right now to tell you about someone who was very special within the UMC family. She is so special that we are dedicating our presentation tonight in her memory. And that special person is Barbara Harris. Barbara Harris came from a family of highly industrious, faith-driven, and philanthropic parents. Her father's family started the Harris Structural Steel Company. The company's handiwork impacted many of the structures in New York City and most of the bridges on the Hudson River, including the Brooklyn Tower for the Verrazano Bridge. It was also Harris Structural Steel that put together the Wesley United Methodist Church in South Plainfield, New Jersey, a church that played a significant role in Barbara's life and in the history of UMC. Barbara's upbringing was one of reminders that there are those in the world who are in a more difficult situation, and that she had a role in helping address that. As longtime friends Laura and Dean Livingston recalled,
one of Barbara's experiences as probably a young teenager, the women at Wesley Church, as many of the women throughout the Methodist community at that time, they collected money each of their monthly meetings to go to the homes. Pennies, yeah. And so one year, at the end of the year, Barbara and her mother went down to Francis Asbury to deliver the pennies. And it wasn't, oh, just send them a check. It was like we go and we see the people and we interact with them. And we know who they are because they're people. They're not just something off there somewhere. They're part of our Christian family.
Barbara could have stayed in the family business, but she decided to make a mark of her own. She attended Wells College, a woman's college located in the Finger Lakes region of upstate New York, and graduated with a degree in biology. Following graduation, Barbara worked for Ortho Pharmaceuticals, where one of her responsibilities was teaching nurses across the country how to talk to women about women's health issues. All this time, Barbara's devotion to her Methodist faith continued to grow. In her mid-20s, Barbara was in the adult choir, as well as an advisor to the youth group. I'll let Laura and Dean take it from here.
When she was in her probably mid-20s, Barbara was advisor to the youth group at church. And they were at church and they were trying to have a discussion on some Christian principle or something or other. And the kids just weren't into it. They just didn't want to talk about it. They were teenagers. And so Barbara said, okay, we're going to change our location. And they got in their cars and drove, probably not more than half a dozen blocks to the local tavern. Now, they did not sit at the bar. They had a table of their own off to the side, and they had a wonderful discussion. And Barbara, had to do a little dancing when she got back in front of some of the officials at the church. But it was good for the kids. She knew how to bring out their, how to make them feel free to speak and to think about religion.
Now that is innovation. Barbara's burgeoning career came to a halt when she realized that the health of both her parents took a turn for the worse. Barbara put aside her career dreams and put all of her focus on that which was most important in her life, caring for them for over 20 years. Barbara's new vocation was her faith, her church, and the New Jersey Methodist Conference. Her devotion, intelligence, and can-do spirit placed her in increasingly important roles leading to her involvement with the United Methodist Homes. Barbara was a driving force in the establishment of a continuing care retirement community in Newton, New Jersey that became known as Bristol Glen. That's her front and center cutting the ribbon. For the later part of her life, Barbara continued to be busy with her church and with us. Barbara served on our board for 18 years, and her impact was significant. Barbara eventually moved to her beloved Bristol Glen, where she spent the rest of her life. She was loved by her fellow residents and those who had the privilege of caring for her. Barbara joined her loving parents in heaven last June, and in her legacy planning, she left the United Methodist Communities Foundation with a sizable and truly transformative gift. We dedicate our show tonight in Barbara's memory, for she was truly, in the words of John Wesley, someone who did all the good she could, by all the means she could, in all the ways she could, in all the places she could, at all the times she could, and to all the people she could. We want to thank you for tuning in and hope you've enjoyed our program. Hold on. I'm being told by our studio team that we've gotten a note from a viewer. It reads, "Gary, I'm amazed at all the things that UMC is doing. Can you help our organization do the same?" It just so happens we can. Take it away, Travis.
BEAM is our division for consulting for other organizations in the industry, where we can take our expertise in technology, leadership, and other areas to help lift up other organizations. Even if they're competitors or whoever, that's really not important. It's about the mission at the end of the day is bringing this entire industry up. A rising tide lifts all boats. And there's a significant lack of this kind of leadership in senior living, and we're really hoping to change that.
If you have comments, questions, or any feedback about our program, we'd love to hear from you. Please email us at foundation@umcommunities.org or call 732-236-9884. Thank you, and God bless our residents, our teammates, and the entire UMC family. Have a good night.